So today we're going to talk about the race hustler supreme himself, Michael Eric Dyson. He had some interesting comments about Kanye West and Candace Owens on the most recent Drink Champs episode. Stay tuned to see what he was talking about.
Of all others. So when you're performing that, your own anti-blackness, Kanye, you a black man who's being anti-black.
Welcome back to the Biblical Conservative channel, where we come against the anti-God, anti-human, anti-biblical, anti-American spirit that's looking to prevail in this land. Please be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. As you can see, we're getting festive around here. We got the wreath up behind me. I love this time of year. Thanksgiving's coming up, Christmas is coming up. So there's never a bad time to be thankful and to be grateful for everything that God has given us. So I'm definitely excited about finishing this year strong. And with that being said, I wanted to talk about probably one of the people I don't loathe anyone. I don't. I think everyone has the opportunity to be redeemed, that Jesus died for everybody. So I have no animosity or hatred in my heart towards anybody. But I do dislike the messengers of this victimization ideology, this white supremacist junk that people are looking to push down the throats of black people to make you feel inferior. They are the white supremacists. They really are. They are the white supremacists. And one of the people I'm talking about, one of the ones that is one of the primary proponents of this ideology, of this messaging, is none other than Dr. Michael Eric Dyson. Now, he was recently on the Drink Champs show. And for those of you who are not familiar with that, that's a show hosted by a former rapper named Noriega. It's the same show that Kanye was on when he started all the mess talking about the Jews. Well, Dr. Michael Eric Dyson came on. He had some comments about Kanye. Let's see what he had to say.
So let me be clear. I love him. He's a genius. He's extraordinarily talented. But I think dealing with the mental health issues that he confronts, whether he wants to admit them or not.
Now you see how they always go back to the mental health thing. When you are speaking truth, no matter what it is, they always want to call you crazy, especially when you are coming from a perspective that is not accepted, a perspective that the elites and the hegemony, the ones that are in power, the true people that are in power, the ones they really don't want you to espouse, and especially black men. They call us crazy or something's wrong with us. We're mentally unstable. They love that line.
That's part of it. Yeah. Another part is that the mental health may exacerbate tendencies that already pre-exist, that the conditions that underlie, just like when you talk about COVID. COVID brings out some of the other stuff that has been hampering you, high blood pressure, diabetes, and so on. So in this sense, the mental health issues and struggles that he's been clear and quite transparent about may have also touched off our analysis of some of his politics and ideology that are problematic. He's a genius and a menace. He's a genius and a nuisance. He's a genius who does extraordinary things, but this ain't his strong suit. Talking about George Floyd is not your strong suit. And I know you've been deeply inspired and influenced by Candace Owens, the conservative right-wing host who lives in Nashville like I do. So the thing is, who you listening to? Who's your diet? You know, this is not Whole Foods. This is not a grocer that is of reputable stuff. You getting it from a ghetto grocer.
Wow. Wow. You hear that? Do you hear what he just said? He said that the information that Kanye is getting, and he lumped Candace Owens in that, he's saying that Kanye is getting information from a ghetto grocery. Now, mind you, this is a man that talks about quote unquote white supremacy. But he just equated Candace Owens and a conservative ideology, if you will, to the ghetto, as if it's lower class. Don't you see the dichotomy? Don't you see the hypocrisy in that? Interesting. He called that ghetto grocery. Wow. Ghetto information. Low standard. No value. That's what he's saying. Only the information that's given by the quote unquote media. The sterile media. The ones that have the message has been sterilized, has been cleansed. That's the only true, that's the Whole Foods, if you will. If you get it from any other source, oh man, that's ghetto. That's ghetto information. Don't listen to that. They love doing it. They love deflecting. No, that's ghetto information. That stuff doesn't matter. That's hood information. That's low-level information.
So, Mr. West, brother, yay, Kanye, it was the force applied by a white supremacist cop. Now, whether he had intention to hate black people, the function of his knee on the neck of George Floyd.
When did George Floyd become a symbol for the entire black community? Can somebody tell me that? When did George Floyd and his death become a symbol, if you will, of the black community? And Derek Chauvin's knee on his neck became the symbol of white supremacy and oppression. I just want to know, when did that memo go out?
Floyd, despite Floyd saying, "I can't breathe, please get up," he was being extremely nice. He wasn't belligerent. He wasn't nasty. He wasn't vituperative. He wasn't hating. He wasn't cussing the man out. He was saying, "I can't breathe." And this man didn't hear him. It was the pressure applied by the knee of Derek Chauvin. And by the way, the black cop who was on his back, and the white cop who was on his knees and his torso, and the Asian cop who was lookout. That's multiculturalism for you. Wow. That's why diversity has to be toward a goal of equality.
So here comes that Marxist terminology. We're about to get it. Here it comes. Equality.
Because you can have diversity towards some messed up goals. Ordinary platform, he says he wants independent thought. How are you being independent in the circumference of MAGA, in the circumference of Donald Trump?
Here you go. You can't be independent in the circumference of MAGA. So if you think make America great again, if you support Donald Trump, you can't think independently. How convenient it is that if you don't subscribe to the Democratic or liberal orthodoxy, their messaging, you're not thinking for yourself. You are the black ventriloquist, that you are speaking white supremacist thoughts. But if you toe the line to the Democratic Party, to what the Democrats have to say, oh, you're thinking for yourself.
When he says, you know, people can't think and they can't be independent, who are you independent from? White supremacy is a dominant stream in American society.
And that's why I have a strong dislike for people like Dr. Michael Eric Dyson. If white supremacy is the dominant strain in America, did white supremacy prevent you from becoming a doctor? Did white supremacy cause my dad to leave when I was 8 years old? Did white supremacy prevent me from achieving what I've achieved today? No, that's a lie. They want to keep perpetuating that same old lie that black people are victims. We are not victims. We are empowered for greatness, but they keep on speaking this same old lie to keep black people in bondage to the Democratic Party they can run a grift on. That's it.
It hasn't been made clear. So when we say Black Lives Matter, we're saying that black lives have been disrespected, have been degraded, have been denied access, have been treated as if they were second-class citizens. White folk already got the advantage.
Dr. Dyson, you keep repeating this over and over and over again. What about all the black people that have achieved? What is the end goal? That's my main question. If I had to sit down with Dr. Michael Eric Dyson, I would ask him, sir, what is the end goal of all this white supremacist talk? Seriously, what is the end goal? I mean, we've been fighting this battle for 60-something years based upon you and others who think like you. What is the end goal? Can somebody drop in the comments? Please tell me, what is the end goal of all this? Because to me, I base the fact that I have my own individual agency, that I have a God who has empowered me to achieve. That doesn't matter what white man, black man, brown man, Asian man, no matter what they can try to do to me, it will not succeed because I have the greater one inside of me. I have my own individual agency, and so do black people. We have our own individual agency, but that has been stripped from us by people like Dr. Michael Eric Dyson and this system that has been set up by the elites. It doesn't matter about the party, Republican or Democrat, they're all privy to it, they all take advantage of it. They play upon the backs of black people and minorities, and they gain from that. So speak to that system, sir. That's the system that's been run on people of color, in particular black people. That system to tell you that you are oppressed, tell you that because of the way you look, you will never achieve, so therefore you feel angry, entitled, bitter towards somebody else who has not done anything to you. The system that has been set up and placed in the black community has been agreed to and conscribed by people like Dr. Michael Eric Dyson in the lineage of Dr. King. These people traded political power for religious truth, for biblical truth. He calls himself a minister. He's traded political power for biblical truth. He doesn't talk about the truth of the gospel. He doesn't talk about how in Christ we can overcome. He never says anything like that. He calls himself a minister. That's the frustrating thing about it. He knows better. He has achieved. But yet he tells everyone else that they cannot because of the color of their skin. How messed up is that?
So you wearing a White Lives Matter t-shirt may be cute to you, but it's destructive, it's harmful, and it hurts the core of black America in this nation.
How does it hurt the core that Kanye and Candace Owens wore a White Lives Matter shirt? It didn't hurt my core. It didn't. Because to me, yeah, all lives are sacred. White, black, brown. I'm tired of putting us into these categories, man. We're all one race. We have different ethnicities. We're all one. Let's stop balkanizing each other. That's a Marxist tactic to separate us, to subvert and destroy this land. That's what they're using. And people like him people like him are being paid to do it. Let's be real. He's being paid to do this stuff. He's not dumb. He's a very smart and very intelligent man. I used to have a lot of respect for him, honestly, back in the day, before I started hearing more and more about what he was really standing on and what he was articulating. But I used to have a lot of respect for this man. He's a very intelligent man. I'm not knocking that. But I hate that he's using that intelligence to denigrate and to disparage and to harm the black community. Your words, sir, are harming the black community.
Claim to be a leader in terms of thought. You claim to be independent, but you are subordinate to a kind of thinking and logic. This is what we mean by white supremacy.
So here's the definition of white supremacy. Pay attention.
It don't mean that every white person hates black people. That's not what white supremacy is. White supremacy is the conscious or unconscious belief in the inherent superiority of one group and the inherent inferiority of all others. So when you're performing that, your own anti-blackness, Kanye, you a black man who's being anti-black.
So listen to this. So I guess I am anti-black because I espouse biblical values. So I'll be labeled as anti-black because I don't espouse the democratic, the progressive, liberal talking points. So therefore, I'm anti-black. Pay attention. Blackness is the Democrats' progressive, liberal. Anything that is contrary to that is anti-black, especially and including biblical values.
Take, for example, Clarence Thomas on the Supreme Court. Now, Clarence Thomas is a dark-skinned black man. Ain't anybody gonna miss that he a Negro. But at the same time, when he opens his mouth, white supremacist ideas, white supremacist thought, white supremacist rhetoric, white supremacist logic is coming out.
There you go. There you go. So Clarence Thomas, he's a black man that everybody can see, but he's not really black. He's anti-black. Because when he opens his mouth, white supremacist thoughts, white supremacist ideas, that's what's coming out of his mouth. White supremacist thought. He's a black ventriloquist for white supremacy. Yeah. Clarence Thomas, Kanye, even myself, I am a black ventriloquist for white supremacist thought. I'm a black dummy for white supremacist thought. That's what Clarence Thomas is. We're black dummies for white supremacist thoughts. We're black mouths for white supremacist thoughts. We, people that espouse freedom, people that espouse the Constitution, people that espouse biblical values, most importantly, are just black lips, black mouths for white supremacist thoughts.